Hey everyone, this is Karen Roy, and we are now doing another episode of Life Possible with a Disability. And I have the pleasure of having my friend David Thomas. He is also a Louisiana native, and we have a lot of fun together and do a lot of adaptive sports together, and then a lot of other advocacy kind of things in Louisiana. So I want to give David the opportunity to kind of tell us his story about how he became a wheelchair user first, and then we'll go from there. So glad to have you.
Thanks for having me on.
Tell us a little bit about your injury.
Well, my injury was August of 1985. Matter of fact, the anniversary of my injury is coming up towards the end of the month. And I was 15, and I was swinging on a rope, and it's like a homemade trapeze. And as I would get to the top of the curve, whenever I was swinging, I would flip over the bar and stuff. And as I was coming down, one time the rope broke and just slung me. Not even sure how I landed or anything. Everything went by in a blur right in front of my eyes, and I was just on the ground. And I'd been injured before doing different things. As a kid, I was kind of Daredevil, Evel Knievel was one of my heroes. But something told me this time something serious is going on here. And I was laying on my stomach, and buddy of mine comes over and starts to roll me over, and I'm telling him, "Nah, don't touch me, man. Something's serious here." And he went in and got my mom, and she called the ambulance, and they took me to the hospital, and that's when they told me that I'd broke my neck.
Yeah. And so you have can't remember the level again. I know it's incomplete, but.
Yeah, I'm a C5.
Yeah. And so the incomplete part of that is probably the only reason that you're able to use a manual chair rather than a power chair, right? Because most C5 completes.
Yeah, I guess. I know that I have limited movement and use of my legs. I can tighten the muscles up, not enough to control them to walk or anything like that, but it does help me when I transfer and all. So
yeah. Cause mine's
plus.
Yeah, there's no because I'm T10, but it's totally complete. I can't. And that's what I try to tell people. It's even if someone gets in my wheelchair and wants to kind of mimic what it's like to be in a chair, it's totally different when you have absolutely no control of your legs. You can't even stiffen them up or do anything to try to help control that. All of your balance is in whatever core muscles you have, and then whatever you can grab with your arms. So you are from what city in Louisiana?
I'm originally from Bogalusa.
Okay. And you live now in
Bush.
Yeah, Bush, which is where we go skiing. So this started off because you just wanted to get back on the water. And so you being a creative kind of guy, you're a senior drafter with NASA. So I would think you're good at designing things. Maybe.
I can come up with some simple designs. Yeah. I started skiing when I was 8 years old, and it was one of my favorite sports. And just being out on the water was always something I loved to do. So whenever I got hurt, excuse me, that was one of the things I wanted to do, one way or the other, was get back out on the water. And some friends of mine had a ski board, and I saw it one day, and it was just like a big sheet of plywood that, got the front curved up and everything that we used to ride on. And when I told them my idea, they were all in, and they gave me the board, and my dad and one of my mom's cousin, they mounted a little beach chair, only sits about 3-4 inches off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
They mounted that on the ski for me, and that's how I started skiing. And then between my cousin and some other friends, we just started modifying the board. We tapered the rear end, we fiberglassed it, we came up with a new seat system, just did all kinds of stuff to it until I got to a really good working ski. I love that ski, and unfortunately, that one was lost in a flood. But we've since then I've built several others so that I'd be able to get out and go skiing.
Yeah. And then I can't remember exactly how it happened, but I know you and a friend then like decided to try to put something together where other people could ski. And I think after that maybe was when you discovered there were other adaptive ski programs across the country, and that there were even skis that you could purchase at that point.
Well, after I'd been skiing for a while, I discovered that there were some other ski programs out. And I think when I was in college, I went to a couple of ski clinics on Monroe. And then after college, I went to a ski clinic over at Bennett Ski School, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And up at Tech is where I met Griff. And he and I used to hang out together some. And I knew he was from Slidell. And I hadn't seen him in years. And just by coincidence and all, I ran into him while I was buying water skis, of all things. I'd found a cheap pair of water skis for my kids on Craigslist. And we stopped to pick them up. And of all people, Griff drives by and it's like, oh, man, I used to ski, and got to talking. And when I saw him get out of the car, I recognized him. And he and I started hanging out some more, and he'd come skiing with us. And when it was just me and the kids, I had to spend all the time driving. But when Griff would come skiing, I'd get a chance to actually ski.
Mm-hmm.
And just sitting around talking at different times. And Griff kept on, man, we need to start an adaptive ski program. Because I'd told him that I'd invited different people at times that I knew,
mm-hmm.
A couple of paraplegics to come skiing with me. And he was like, well, we need to start a clinic, man. We need to start a program. We need to do clinics and all this. And he finally talked me into going to Dallas. And we met with a group there, Metroplex Adaptive Water Skiing. And they agreed to, when we went up there, they agreed to come down to here to help us put on our first clinic. So that's how we got started.
Yeah. And how many years ago was that?
That's 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because it was the first time I got to go was when I was Miss Wheelchair America. And I think we first met probably when you were, because you would go to different conferences. So I'm on the board for the Brain and Spinal Cord Injury of Louisiana, and y'all always had a table there trying to get people and to come skiing. And I was like, oh, I'm totally doing this. And then coincidentally, I won Miss Wheelchair America, and it was probably the first time I got to go.
Yeah. Who's it? Kimberly Hill with Biala.
Yeah.
Invited us, and she knew a friend of mine from college, Mike Frenzel.
Yeah, he's on the board too. Yeah.
And that was the first time in a long time that I'd seen Mike. And yeah, that's where you and I met as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think you came out the next year. We were still doing the clinics at our original location then.
Mm-hmm.
Before our current, we moved to our current location.
Is it Pearl River?
Yeah, it's the Pearl River Canal.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were actually on opposite ends. We were doing our first few clinics were at Lock 1. Now we're about 10 miles down the canal, closer to Lock 2.
Yeah. How many people does it take? So, I mean, to me, whenever I've done these ski clinics, so with you guys, I've done it 2 or 3 times. And then I recently got to do a clinic they put on in Wisconsin, but the number of volunteers that it takes. So you've got to have someone driving the boat. You have to have people in the boat. You have to have jet skis, people that are very, very proficient at driving a jet ski. There has to be a person on the back of the jet ski to jump off into the water where the person falls. There's people to launch them. So tell us how many volunteers it takes to run one of these things.
Typically we have between 20 and 25 volunteers that come out, and like you said, they help out with all of that. We have the beach crew as well. They are the ones that help people down to the water and into the ski and into the water and out of the water. Then we also have several people that are usually up on the bank, and they're the ones signing people in, making sure everybody fills out their forms and gets them down on the list. And we have some great volunteers. We really do. Several of them have been with us from our very first clinic, and they still come out and volunteer over and over again. They just they love it as much as everybody else does. They love helping as much as the people that love to come out and ski.
Yeah, which it's fun because you have to wait your turn, and but while you're waiting your turn, you're hanging out with a bunch of other people with disabilities that you may or may not have ever met from all over the state and from Mississippi. People come in for this event, and the volunteer. Now there's the people that own this home that's on the canal, and they have like a little beach area set up, and they use their boat. And then we have other people who are cooking food and going to feed us.
The home belongs to Gus and Stacy Bordelon, and they are our biggest supporters. And they own Coastal Environmental Services, and they opened up their home to us for the clinics. And not only that, Stacy is our regular boat driver, and she makes sure everybody has such a great and safe ride. So yeah, not their spot and all that. I love their location. They have such a beautiful beach area.
Yeah, it's really, really nice. Cause, and then we have y'all have tents set up and, place to kind of sit in the shade. And the other near Lock 1, we were on like a big incline. So there was a bit of a hill to like kind of get up, but there's just lots of flat space.
Yeah. I tell you what, when we were getting ready for Metroplex to come down, and we started looking for the location to have it, I spent hours on Google Earth going through every waterway around this area, and then we would
which is saying a lot. That's a lot of waterways.
Yeah, and then we'd find a place that we would think would be okay, and then on the weekends we would drive there to go check it out and see if it was, and it wasn't until maybe a couple of months, or not, well, not even that long. It was maybe a month before Metroplex was set to come down that we finally settled on Lock 1. It's just surprising how there are no accessible beaches in this area.
Mm-hmm. And then you have to work around other people launching their boats. And if I would, if it's a really crowded spot, it's not a good spot for, first time skiers with disabilities to try to like get up, without kind of blocking out the whole space.
Yeah. To go back to the part about, sitting around and everything,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one way that we differ from some of the larger ski programs, because we're not having huge numbers right now. We typically average maybe about 10 to 12 skiers, and a lot of the times, because we only have around that many, we typically, everybody gets to ski twice.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So people get to hang out and socialize a good bit. And I think that's one of the ways that we differ, is the fact that we do socialize so much, and we sit there and we eat together, and everybody sits around and talks, and it's a really a comfortable space for people with disabilities.
Yeah,
they don't have to worry about if they go out into the different social settings, they don't have to worry about being the odd person out, because they're not the only odd person there. There's a lot of people with disabilities, and everybody can relax and be themselves.
Yeah. I've met people there that I've never met at any other support group. And, I've done a lot of that around South Louisiana. And, I've made friends. There's a girl that I see all the time at the urology office now who skis, who I met out there with Ski Dawgs. So, so I guess I just kind of wanted to give, everybody an opportunity to kind of know what you do and to share it, because I think, it's not easy. You work a full-time job at NASA as a drafter. Most everyone who's out there and volunteers works a full-time job, and, it takes a lot of planning and coordinating. And then of course it's a lot of work, and it's those weekends, but I know that you love it. And I know, like you said, I think the volunteers who do it get a lot out of it, almost as much as the people who are participating and getting that opportunity to ski. So I wanted to say thank you.
Oh, I'm glad. Thank you. We love doing it so much, and we just hope to continue doing it for a long, long time.
Yeah. And that's why I'm going to share the link. So if you're anywhere in the Louisiana, Mississippi area and you can get there for the clinics, you can follow Ski Dawgs. They have a page on Facebook. David's working on one for Instagram. It's not up yet, but, and then he advertises the upcoming dates. And if you want to donate, that's also a way to get in touch with the nonprofit, because this is a 501c3. It's a nonprofit. So any donations, you can get in touch with them as well, because that's kind of how we make it all happen every year. And y'all did 4 this year?
We had 4 planned. The third one got canceled due to weather concerns. So we ended up only having 3.
Yeah. But that's South Louisiana for you. So, I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, well, I will post that in the show notes, and I'm so glad that we could have this time together. And then also, if y'all want to go check out New Motion pages on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. We recently did a customer story on David, because he's also a New Motion customer. And so we have some pictures and a story. So check it out. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye, David.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Don't hang up.